You're watching Rurouni K95's anime review on the 2004 Appleseed movie. Hi Ruronis, this is your pal Rurouni K95 here. Today's anime review. Yet we get to cover a 2004 anime film. For today's anime review is Appleseed. Appleseed is a 2004 Japanese anime post-apocalyptic science fiction film directed by Shinichi Aramaki and based on the Appleseed manga created by Masamune Shirow, who worked on Ghost in the Shell manga. It features the voice acting of Ai Kobayashi, Jirota Kosugi, Maami Koyama, Yuki Matsuoka, and Toshiyuki Morikawa. Yep, the film tells the story of Unan Ute, a former soldier who searches for data that can restore the reproductive capsules of bioroids of race and genetically engineered clones, although it shares characters and settings with the original manga. The film storyline is a reinterpretation, not a adaptation which is not exactly an adaptation. This Appleseed film should be not to be confused with the 1988 Appleseed OVA from the late 80s, which is also inspired by the manga. Appleseed was released on April 18th, 2004. If I get to cover Appleseed 1988 anime OVA, that'll be for my most part of my anime review. So let's review. Duan Knute, a young soldier and one of the global war's last survivors, is rescued by Hitomi, a second-generation bioroid. Kanute's escape attempt is stopped by her former lover named Barrios Hikanton Cherries, now a cyborg. She realizes that the war had ended. She is in an utopian city called Olympus. Its population is half human and half clone, a genetically engineered species called bioroids. Olympus is governed by three factions: Prime Minister Athena Arios, General Edward Uranus III, head of the Olympus Army, and a council of elders. Everything in the city is observed by an artificial intelligence named Gaia from a building called Tarataros. Well, the air Deunan joins the whatever you want to pronounce the name, joins the counter-terrorism organization eSWAT. The bioroids were created from the DNA of Deunan's father, Carl, making the second bioroids her brothers and sisters. However, they have a much shorter lifespan than humans due to suppressed reproductive capabilities. The bioroids' life extension facilities are destroyed by a secret faction of the regular army in a terrorist attack against the bioroids. However, the Appleseed data, which contains information restoring the bioroids' reproduction and capabilities, still exist. Olympus is plagued by conflicting factions, along with the strike force. Dunan and Barrios head to the building where the bioroids were originally created. She activates a holographic recording showing the location of the Appleseed data. Dr. Gillian Nute, who created the bioroids, entrusted Appleseed to Dunan, but was individually killed by a soldier. After mourning the death, Leighton turns against his men. Then they get cornered by the regular army. Dunan discovers from the anti-bioroid terrorist Colonel Hades that Biros had intentionally allowed his landmate, a large exoskeleton-like battlesuit, to escape. Kudo then sacrifices himself to get Dunan and Briarios out of harm's way and escape to the rooftop. Uranus attempts to convince Dunan and that bioroids seek to control humanity and wants to destroy Appleseed and D-Tank containing the bioroid reproductive activation mechanism. Biorios tells Uranus that the elders manipulated the army into wanting to destroy the D-Tank. but Athena is trying to prevent them from doing so and protecting humanity. Hades, who resents Carl wounded Barrios, she and Barrios flee into the sea, killing Hades. In the process, despite Dionan's plea, or whatever you want to pronounce the name, please, to leave Barrios behind, he pursues her to to search for the elders. Mechanic Yoshitsune Miyamoto arrives in his landmate and begins repairing Barrios after receiving an SOS from him. Dionan flies back into Olympus in Yoshitsune's landmate and uses the Appleseed data to fully restore Bioroid reproductive functions. Speaking of which, as Dionan encounters the Council of Elders, they reveal their involvement in Gilliam's death and also plan to use the D-Tank virus to sterilize humans, which will leave the Bioroids the new rulers of Earth. They needed the Appleseed data to keep the Bioroids alive, but Gilliam hid the data so they could not move forward with their plan. Yeah. Athena stepping in to stop them, announcing that Uranus has surrendered, tells Dionan that the elders had been acting on their own and had shut Gaia down once they realized humanity had softened their stance against the Bioroids. The elders state that they will soon die since Gaia kept them alive, but that they were ready to sacrifice themselves. Then they activate the city's mobile fortress defenses, which begin marching towards Tartaros. Athena states that D-Tank's security system is nearly impenetrable, but a shot from the fortress's main cannons may puncture the tank, releasing the virus. E-SWAT begins mobilizing, but suffer heavy casualties due to the fortress's heavy weaponry. So, meanwhile, Briareos arrives, whatever you want to pronounce the name, and asks Dionan to join or whatever you want to pronounce the name also, to join the battle. Despite the elders' objections, she goes with him to the 7th tower and attempts to enter the password to shut the defenses down, but a malfunction makes it difficult. So for the final password, letter appears by itself, and Dionan secures the D-Tank, shutting down the towers. She reveals that the sins of humanity will probably get worse, but that there is always the chance that the future generations will learn from these mistakes. She vows to keep fighting for the children. Yep, so that's my review on the 2004 anime film Appleseed, because I know there is some combining with some anime style on the characters, especially like from hand-drawn, so they had it added with some CG computer-generated animation in the 2004 Appleseed anime movie. Speaking of which, if I get to cover the original 1988 Appleseed anime OVA from 1988, then I'll think about doing that for my next anime review, in probably, like, for the most part in general, as an anime reviewer. It's just like how I've looked back on my previous anime review on Millennium Actress, which it has got to me, that's why. The film was released in theaters on April the 18th, 2004 in Japan. On January 14th, 2005, Pioneer Geneon, now as Geneon Entertainment, released the film in 30 theaters. It was later released on DVD on May 10th, 2005. But with Geneon's name and logo removed from the credits and trailer, Geneon Entertainment's North American division was shut down in December 2007. This allowed the film to be picked up by Sentai Filmworks, with a distribution from ADV Films, who re-released it on DVD on July 1st, 2009. Sentai Filmworks, along with Section 23 Films, released Appleseed on Blu-ray disc on May 18th, 2010. The Blu-ray edition of the film, however, includes the original anime's English dub and an updated dub produced by Seraphim Digital, which features most of the cast from Appleseed Ex Machina. The movie was re-released in a DVD Blu-ray set on September 18th, 2015 under the Anti-Selects label. The film has 24% on Rotten Tomatoes with the critic consensus, while visually arresting, Appleseed's narrative and dialogue pondering existentialism is ponderous, awkward, and clumsy. IGN.com gave the film 7 out of 10, commenting that the film is more fun, beautiful, and much better than the 1988 film. Anime News Network's Carlos Santos said while the plot is overly cliched, the visual presentation and musical score both stand out and gave the film its worth. Helen McCarthy in 500 Essential Anime Movies noted the use of shading and motion capture in the film, stating that as good as the technology is, the script doesn't match the 1988 version. Director Shinji Aramaki also directed the sequel to the 2004 movie titled Appleseed Ex Machina, which was released in October 19, 2007 in Japan. The movie was once again featured animated computer-generated imagery, although the cel-shaded style was abandoned. On July 22, 2014, an indirect sequel titled Appleseed Alpha was released on Blu-ray and DVD, and after a digital release on July 15, 2014. Appleseed 2004 was described by Mark Schilling at the Japan Times as innovated a use of out-of-the-box animation software to create Hollywood-style effects at a tiny fraction of Hollywood budgets. The statement was echoed by Studio Ghibli president Toshio Suzuki, who stated that Appleseed would revolutionize the animation business. Yeah, so the music for the original soundtrack for Appleseed 2004 anime movie with cel-shaded style with some CG backgrounds and stuff. And the music to the series features an electronic, techno, and trance theme with the likes of Paul Oka and Fold Basement, Jack's Boom Boom Satellites, Akufen, Carl Craig, Ram Shirmiri, and Ryuichi Sakamoto handling the music. Because the original soundtrack to the 2004 Appleseed movie features electronic, techno, and trance music in it. Yeah, this is your typical 2004 anime movie with cel-shaded style with some CG background in it, which is not to be confused with the 1988 Appleseed anime OVA. If I get to cover Appleseed 1988 anime OVA, that'll be probably for the most part for my future anime reviews, which at what will be at one point. But I know there's some music in the soundtrack of the 2004 Appleseed movie has electronic, techno, and trance music in Appleseed 2004 anime movie. Yeah, because this has combining cel-shaded animation with some CG background animation, but cel-shaded are basically look like the traditional animation on these characters in Appleseed 2004 film. Expect for an anime film, I guess. So that's going to be it for my anime review on the 2004 Appleseed anime movie for today's anime review. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's my thoughts about this one. I would like to thank my viewers for requesting me to do this review because I haven't reviewed this for today's anime review until now. And I also have the 2004 Appleseed anime movie on DVD in my anime collection. Be sure to subscribe for content. My anime plan link in the description down below. You can share this video on your Twitter and Facebook if you have a Twitter Facebook account, all social media. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up by clicking on the like button on this video. Feel free to leave in the comments in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RurouniK95. Feel free to join my channel, especially if you're new to my channel. Hit the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified on your email if you check out my updates on my videos on YouTube. And keep it otaku for this anime review. And I got another anime review coming up. Stay tuned for tomorrow's anime review. I'm going to to do another anime review, which is an anime movie from 2009, starting with my anime review on Redline. Stay tuned for tomorrow's anime review on Redline, because you won't want to miss another anime review.